Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hello, Cubs friends. It's 120. You know what that means. Time to grab an old style and a bleacher seat. You're in Club 120. Let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is a man who knows the only untradeable clubhouse candy is red vines. What's on today's lineup card, Coach?
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate it, Nate. And you're right. I will trade half the bullpen before I give up my red vines. That is just facts. But big thanks to everyone for tuning in, whether you're listening from the bleachers, the bar, the bullpen cart. Welcome in to Club 120, man. We got a packed show today. We're talking offensive offense because, yes, the bats have gone missing again. We'll dig into the rotation, the bullpen woes, the deadline 1 day away, and ask, where does Jed really need to make a move? We'll also hit on Jed's extension and what that means for Cubs' future. Break down why this trade market is moving slower than David Ross's challenge. And take a moment to remember the legend Ryne Sandberg. We'll finish strong with a preview of a massive weekend ahead. The Orioles are coming to town. Club 120. We will be in Wrigleyville for the RanterFest and all other good things. Let's kick it off, man. What's everyone grumbling about this offensive offense, man?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. The Cubs can slug. The Cubs can run. They can hit. They can take their walks. And they could be clutch. But let's be honest, they rarely do all of those in the same game. And maybe they do two sometimes, but lately it's just been one, man. It's been slugging, and it's been one big inning. We'll run the bases, but then we can't get a clutch hit. You know, we're really just not complimenting. And I went through a baby step-by-step process today on Twitter. It felt awful doing it but that was how to build a big inning, and they did it. It was just stacking. And they did that with 2 outs. Like it's really not that hard. And they're just not stacking at bats right now. And it really frustrates me because, yes, you do get like 600 of them in a season. But let's give them away in a better way, like maybe move a runner. I don't know. I mean, I know that's what gets you, right? I mean, let's be honest. What boils your pot more than situational hitting? I'll let you go.
Yeah, it's not just the situational hitting, if I'm being honest. It's the playing the game fundamentally sound. Like, you know, it was absolutely maddening to watch the game yesterday. I mean, we're obviously filming on Wednesday, to watch Tuesday's game. And before the second Ryan Presley debacle, the second day in a row, but before that point, like, it's a 2-run ball game. We're in this game, and we're getting beat by a team who's literally just moving runners the right way and hitting a sac fly. And I mean, their first 3 runs of the game were scored by a sac fly. Yeah. And all of them that they had moved over by bunting the ball over.
Yeah. So technically they gave away 6 outs of a baseball game that are so precious, but yet
they gave out 6 outs to get 3 runs.
And they suffocated us.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was being suffocated the whole game, as far as playing defense was concerned. I mean, there was traffic the entire game.
And I tell you, the knock is, right, like, no one likes to bunt. Nobody. It's not hot. It's not sexy. It's not whatever. But you know what? Winning is. And the thing that's so frustrating to me is it's not like we're knocking the cover off the baseball right now.
No.
Like now's the time to do it. Like let's grind it out for 2 or 3 games until we get our swagger back. Like, and to me, that's, you know how I feel. That to me comes from the top. That is something that has to be, you know, obviously our guys are not going to do it on their own, so they have to be told to do it, and
Sure.
And they're not being told to do so. And I think the win column is suffering. Now, you and I have also talked about if you just take care of business and win your series at home for the rest of the year, you win your series at home and you go 500 on the road, the wins, the schedule, the results, the standings will take care of themselves. And they've done that, right? Like this road trip was 500. The only thing they didn't do was the Royals. They didn't win the Royals series at home, but they finished July 14-10.
True. My problem with the offense and why it becomes offensive is very simple. They just, like you said at the beginning, they're just not playing the game the right way. And another point back to you, it's coming from the top, the manager side of it. Look, it's coming from the baseball gods. They're demanding the Cubs play baseball the right way sometimes. You can't slug your way out of it. You can't, you know, the game was designed to move the runner and not hit the ball as far as you can. We've trumped that now and we've changed the game. I get that, but sometimes in order to win in October and now November, when the wind's howling in or it's, you know, below 40 degrees, you're going to have to slap a runner around a little bit. And we're just not doing it. And until we actually figure that out, it really looks like a short off season or a sooner off season than we would think, because we just simply can't play baseball the right way. And that sucks.
Yeah, I got 3 guys in my opinion, and I'm just going to run down the list of 3 guys that in my mind, and you can add to the list, you can take away whatever. Okay. But 3 guys in my mind that are supposed to be producing that are just not right now. And that's, you know, I mean, what a wild 8 hours it's been for Ian Happ, right? Like he's on the IL, he's not on the IL, he's not playing today, he's hitting a home run today. So Ian Happ for me, which of these 3, he's the one I'm worried about the least, because I think his numbers always seem to even out. Then Dansby and Seiya, to me, man, for somebody that led the league the first half in RBIs, and we were really chanting the All-Star chant at him, has really looked lost in his last 30 plate appearances.
Well, and we knew that was kind of coming. There has to be some level of regression there, because just as you said for Ian, that he's going to have some progression in his numbers. You know, you can't stay on a 160 RBI clip for that long. So we knew there was going to be some level of a stretch from Seiya to struggle. You're not wrong with the Ian part, because, somehow he's going to end up at 240-ish, and we're all going to wonder how he did it. And I hope it's not like today where we're up 6 runs already. I would like those to be more impactful RBIs and opportunities for him to get those hits. And Dansby, we've noted multiple times, I think we are what we are with Dansby. We're just another hot streak away from loving him. I hope he leaves him in the 8 hole. I'm okay with Dansby hitting 8 and hitting 250. I'm okay with it. I'll stop bitching. I will stop bitching if he never leaves the 8 hole again. He can strike out with runners on all day long. You know why? Because he's my slick fielding shortstop who occasionally hits, and I got to live with it. I can't live with it in the 5 hole and the 6 hole. It's just killing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving on. Next topic, tired arms. The rotation's thin, the bullpen's leaking. Who needs reinforcements from Jed more, the bullpen or the rotation?
Man, it's 1A and 1B for me. There's really not much I wouldn't bark at if one of the 2 hit the wire, the Twitter wire here in the next any time. I'd be like, thank you. Right? I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. There's only 3 guys in the bullpen that are giving us a clear path to clean innings, and that's Thielbar and Keller and Palencia right now. And I'd love to say the rotation, but guess what? We just went through a week where we had Show to lose and Boyd lose. So it's everything. Give me one of each right now, and then we'll see what happens with the rest.
Yeah, I think there's multiple starters. I think running on fumes. I think Colin Ray looks like he needs a nap, man.
But did you expect that, honestly? I mean, has he not delivered every week for the last 3 months when his role was supposed to be maybe 75 innings?
Yeah. And, to me, the Boyd's last outing, I'm hoping is just an anomaly. Shota obviously righted the ship today. Looked a lot. I mean, obviously anything looked better than his previous outing, but and then Horton, to me, Horton's the only one, in my opinion, that's trending upward.
He's getting better every time, and it's fun to watch him grow. And I think he probably deserves a little bit more than a passing comment right now. Would love to. I can't wait to see him this weekend. Honestly, haven't seen him throw yet. So to be in the house this weekend to watch him throw is going to be real fun. He's really exciting for us. I'm glad he's here and he's doing what he's doing. I got a question for you. There was an interesting move the Cubs made this week as we're talking about how tired and thin we are. The Cubs DFA'd Chris Flexen, who had about 19, 20 pretty clean innings, and then it seemed to change pretty drastically. Do you feel like that was a good move to with the hook so fast there, or is there other opportunities that you feel like that made our roster better?
Man, you are that really throwing out the bait is what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing. Look, here's the deal. I think Jan is very loud. I think Mom has made it perfectly clear that, that he has a ring and he has nothing left to prove. And I think the only reason that I'm not saying Mom, but I think his history is the only reason that he wasn't the one DFA'd. Because if you put Flexen's numbers next to Presley's numbers, there's no reason, there is zero reason that Presley wasn't the one that was DFA'd, except for the number of dollar bills being deposited in his bank account weekly. And
the problem is I don't think Presley would last 1 minute on the waiver.
I don't think that's a problem. Why do we care?
Okay.
Because if he goes to the waiver and someone selects him, we no longer have to pay him.
It's true.
If I think the fear is that he clears waivers and now we have to pay this guy to not pitch.
Oh no, he would go home in a heartbeat. If you get I'm not. Look, there's some interesting times in this world, and we just saw one this week, and so we can't really, with a Class A deal. So I'll leave that conspiracy theory right there on the table. But I don't think he would last the waiver wire, and I think Craig knows that too. And there's a way to get outs from Ryan Presley for the next 2 months, and it's never going to be within 3 runs of a up or down at this point.
So far, it doesn't matter if you're up 3. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
His last 2 outings, he's given up 4 runs.
That's what I'm saying. He won't be in a game whether we're up 3 or down 3. He won't be in that range anymore. He's now the white flag, which, is a long way to fall. The summary here is this: we're thin, and we're still DFAing arms. That says everything about how much work Jed really does still have to do before the deadline. So it's going to be an exciting, 36 hours at this point now, 24 now. It's Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock. Wednesday. So we've got 24 hours, Jed. All eyes are on you, bud.
Yeah. And so let's go back to the question. I'm gonna make you answer it. If Jed only adds 1 arm, bullpen or starter?
It's got to be a starter. You have a plan that you can use guys like Ben Brown in the bullpen, right? There's definitely some power arms and opportunities to find leverage in games where you're up 3 or down 3, right? And you really only need 4 of those guys in a series to be your clear path to the closer. So I really think that it's got to be a starting pitcher, Neil. It's got to be, and it's down to a very short list, and they're playing chicken right now, and that's kind of where we're heading next.
Okay, very, very good segue there with Jed. So Jed's locked in a long-term deal, but is he going to make a splash at the deadline? So extend Jed now. What does his extension signal about ownership's confidence to you?
Ownership's confidence is high. I think the joke I've been making is that him and Jed have been playing a game of poker this whole time, or some sort of a bet that says, hey, build me a team that wins 90 and I'll give you an extension type of thing. And I think we're there. I think we crossed that point of we're going to win 90 type of thing. And you look at the cupboard, it's full in the minor leagues. You look at the business plan, it's under budget. I mean, how can you not extend a guy that just ran your business $20+ million under budget and isn't whining about it. And you know what I mean? Like, and is openly saying, I can do that. I can work within a plan. So Jed really did earn that extension on all fronts. Honestly, as a Cubs fan, you might be frustrated with a couple of 83 win seasons, and we all are. But he was given the constraints, but he was given the reins to work in those constraints, and he's done a great job. So I think he earned the extension. If you're asking, was it a good thing, and does the ownership support it? Absolutely. They made him work all the way to the end for it, but it was a good move.
Yeah. Does this change in your mind how active he'll be at the deadline, or was he going to do what he's going to do regardless?
Yeah, that's an easy one. Honestly, he knew this was coming. He bet on himself. And the best part is that he also had a few moves up his sleeve to, do that with the flex and deal midseason, right? So he didn't just have to sit on his chips and let it ride. He knew this day was coming, so I don't think he ever doubted the extension, and this kind of still fits within his plan. And I think that's why it's been so slow. That's why he didn't have a knee-jerk reaction when Steele went down early. That's why he didn't have another knee-jerk reaction when Shota went down, right? So with that being said, are you okay with Jed's conservative, seems to be sticking to his own plan and the guns and not having a little bit of a fan knee-jerk reaction or passionate reaction? Are you okay with Jed's approach?
Yeah, one of the best things I saw, I watched the post game today, and one of the things that Craig Counsell said that actually I thought was great. He said that Jed's working really hard, and that we need to keep in mind that Jed has a responsibility to this team as well as the future of the Chicago Cubs. And I thought that was brilliant. Like that sums up Jed's role and his job perfectly. Like, he has a responsibility to get stuff done for this team.
Yeah.
But ultimately the responsibility is to the Chicago Cubs organization as a whole going forward. Mm-hmm. And that's a fine line. Because I can't, you and I have talked about this, because the iCubs, they don't lead their division. They're not great, but man, we seem to think there's a lot of superstars down there.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to think that is the most star-studded AAA roster in baseball, but they don't win a lot of games. So, and that's what we want these guys to do when they come to the next level. We want them to win games. We don't want them to go 5 for 5 with 2 doubles and us lose 4-3.
That was a really good shot today of Ballesteros after JT's double. The camera flashed to him because he just got pulled. I mean, the kid had a freaking missile oppo, and next at bat he's pulled because it's a situational move, right? Kid's on the top rope, and we're elevating and celebrating as soon as that ball touches down. And I love to see that. So it seems like some of these kids coming up do have a little bit of that. But you're right. They are having a little bit of a showcase mentality in the minors, right? You gotta go 5 for 5 every day. Somebody else's prospect is going 5 for 5. And if I can't get to the bigs here, I got to get to the bigs somewhere. And there's only 30 teams.
Our next topic is obviously breaking news, and all of these topics are kind of flowing together, and they're all kind of trade deadline oriented. Yeah. Why in the world does it? I mean, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I feel like I always pay close attention to it. Last year it was like, are we going to sell? Are we going to buy? Are we, So I feel like the last 2 years we've been in that situation where, are we selling? Are we buying? What are we doing? So, but this year seems different because I know we're buying.
Right.
But it seems like the market is crawling.
Yeah, very much so, isn't it?
So why do you feel that that's the case?
Well, you look at, I think probably the best example would be the Rangers right now, where they were sitting on a couple of guys to get healthy, but they were 5 or 6 games under, but now they're 6 over. And they went from 5 games out of the wild card to, half a game in the wild card. So one good week for some of these teams in this middle level changes a whole lot. And I know we don't feel that where we're at, and let's not, try to snoot our nose here like we've been up here all the time. We knew at an 83 win team that a 7-2 week, couple weeks leads you into a weekend series where you're taking a wild card. And so I think a lot of teams look at that and they're like, man, if we just get 2 more starts out of this guy, We know it's there. And they're going to get a kid that's not going to be here for 2 years. So, next year you're in the same boat if you're any of these teams that are hovering within 10 games of 500. And so do you really want to sell for a 3-year plan right now when your attendance is teetering? That's the biggest question. That's the biggest question in the trade market right now, right, Neil? It's not so much about anything more than how much money can I keep making without having to spend all the money.
Yeah, no, there's a couple things that come to mind when I think about the trade deadline and how slow it's going. I think this year it's different. There's too much parity. I think there's too many teams still in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're seeing teams like you just mentioned that are the San Francisco Giants, for example. They were buyers 2 weeks ago.
Right. Big.
And now they're selling. Like, I think that's where everyone's at right now. I think most of the league is off tomorrow. There's not many games on the slate tomorrow, so I think it will pick up. I think there'll be a lot of action last minute. I think there's a lot of big names being dangled out there that have hefty asking. They want a lot of prospects in exchange, and I think the longer those names are out there, the cheaper they're going to get.
Right. There's going to be a flurry of moves once everybody moves off of their situation, if you will. Their situation room has to change. The board's got to change, whether it's a trade that moves other players off of their board. But the biggest thing here, Neil, is not so much who's playing chicken with who, it's how much you're willing. We're playing in and Jed's came out and said it. We're playing in a controllable market. He's not going after rentals. He's not selling guys like Casey and Alcantara and Jackson Wiggins for a guy that's here for 50 to 70 games. He's just not going to do it. So, and I think there's a lot of big guys like the Eugenio Suarez's of the world that they think that they can get a guy for that because he's going to be a 125 RBI guy. And that's going to win you October. And so are you willing to pay your October for it or bet your October on it? Jed's not gonna. And so it's a game of chicken now, but also you're right. There's going to be some big names moved, some guys on $9, $10, $12 million contracts. You're gonna be like, wait, why did that guy get moved from a decent team? Because they're not willing to pay him for the rest of the year. They need that $6 million back. So,
what I'm going to miss about the few games that are on tomorrow is Hug Watch. And I got to hand it to the Minnesota Twins. I mean, the Minnesota Twins are literally trolling everyone. Like, everyone that comes out of a game, goes through and hugs everyone. And then, what's funny is it's forcing Jeff Passan to have to tweet. Like, he did not get traded. He's still on the roster.
Right.
He's just hugging guys.
He's just happy to be in the clubhouse. He's a friendly guy.
It's fantastic. If you can't have fun with it,
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good time. The next 24 hours is kind of fun for a lot of folks, and it's definitely got to be uneasy for these guys, especially if you're a prospect in some organization, unless you have a clear path to where you're going. And heck, even if you have a clear path, you might be part of the wow factor to get the guy here. So best of luck to everybody on the move, and let's see what Jed's got to do.
Yeah, a lot of real estate on the market the next 24 hours. So we'll start. It's one of those things they ought to have Pizza Watch, where they around the Pentagon when they see how many pizzas are ordered.
My gosh,
around the Pentagon, that means that we're going to war or whatever. They ought to have some sort of real estate watch so we know that somebody's getting moved. Okay, on to a sad topic. Remembering Ryno, obviously, one of the most, in my generation anyway, probably if not the most iconic Cub. But the life and legacy of Ryne Sandberg, a Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glove, MVP. Just an absolute gold standard human. And he was my first favorite Cub growing up. So it just sucks, man. It sucks. It sucked the way I found out. It sucked. That we had to be on the road playing in Milwaukee. it sucked all the way around.
Yeah, and they had been hinting at it for a couple weeks. Everybody had been wearing Ryno jerseys for the 7th inning stretch, and any Cubs dignitary in town was, doing their thing, and now we know why. Now we know why Kerry was in town. We know, they were not everybody at once. There was guys swinging through town to say hi to Ryno, and that's what that was. It wasn't, it was anything more than that. Craig probably said it best, and I'll give you, I don't want to spend. Small stuff here is a lot. And growing up as a kid, you remember stuff that's so much more vivid than now. I don't even barely remember what I had for dinner last night. But, Craig said it really, really good to sum up Ryno. He said he said he was kind of just really good at everything. And, as you give a tribute to somebody and you look at that and you go back to, when you first became sports conscious, man, he was really good right at our time. 88 to 92 right there. Was a really good window, and man, that was a fun window in the National League Central. With Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla, the Pirates. You had Sandberg and Grace, and there was just such a vibe there, and it's just so vivid for me, Neil, because we were in standard def back then, but man, it's HD in my mind.
Yeah,
really going bonkers, and just afternoon games, and it's on TV, it's on cable, and I'm 1,000 miles away in Dallas, Texas, and it's like I'm a Cubs fan, and it made it easy to love because he made playing second base cool, and I was a second baseman, and I love that, and that was probably the best part for me. What about for you?
Yeah, the coolest thing about all of this, if there is, is the stories that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously after he's gone, but man, there was just to hear Nico talk about him today, and then to watch the Hall of Fame induction from this year, and they talk about how Ryno was not on the stage, and then they flash back to his speech at Cooperstown when, and it's funny because we opened our show with, respecting the game, and you play the game with a certain level of respect, and you play it the right way. And that in his Hall of Fame speech, I thought that the most Ryne Sandberg thing ever was for him to say, I never thought the Hall of Fame was possible for me because I respected the game too much.
Yep.
And man, that's who he is, man. That's, and then, I saw a short clip of a video of him showing the Sandberg game to his grandkids. And it kind of had one of those voiceovers of him talking, while he's showing the game to his grandkids. And he said, it's that they've always known me just as Pappy, and I've always been Pappy to them. And he said, but the older they get, they're starting to know me as Ryne Sandberg. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of dude he was. I think he just wanted to be known in his own house as Pappy.
Yeah,
he wasn't in a hurry to show everybody who he was.
No.
So
no, he was great. And it's too soon. 65 years old. Jeez, that's just too soon. Cancer sucks, man.
Yes, it does. All right, so not really a good way to segue out of that, but we'll do our best. Big weekend ahead, man. Weekend preview. The O's are coming to town. And so are we.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. Let's start there. We're coming to town, not just for the O's and the Cubs, but we've got a little RanterFest going on. So I'll be the first to kind of give that a good blast. It's the Cubs ranter community. All of us here in the podcast space and on the Twitterverse and all those things are going to come together and hang out for a good cause. It's for the Lost Boys. That's boys with a Z. Check them out. They actually provide baseball coaching and training and teams in the Chicago area for underprivileged or low opportunity. Really is probably the best way to put it. They've got low opportunity for fields and practice and all that stuff. That's who they target, and they provide those opportunities for those kids. So it's a really cool thing. So looking forward to getting involved with them and meeting a lot of Cubs folks in the process. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we did kind of clubhouse segment with Danny Rocket yesterday. We pushed that out on YouTube last night and this morning. So check that out. He kind of goes into detail about the Lost Boys and how he discovered them and how he made that the cause. And then he also talks about RanterFest and what you can expect there. And there's a pre-game party. There's a watch party if you don't have tickets to the game. And then there is a post-game party as well. So all of that's happening right by the stadium, right in Wrigleyville. So check that out. You can there's still plenty of tickets available. sonranto.com and click on RanterFest and you can get all your tickets and everything there. And 100% of the proceeds go to Lost Boys. So, man, even if you're not going to go buy a ticket and send some money to the Lost Boys. But man, yeah, I just as excited about seeing some folks out there that we interact with on Twitter or X or TikTok or wherever it is. Man, I'm just excited to be back in the stadium again and back in Wrigleyville for the weekend. We'll be there for all 3 of the Orioles games, and we'll be there Monday night for the Reds game.
Yes, sir. So I have a question for you, Neil. If you had to give this weekend a pep talk, how would you see it? What's your keys, or what are you breaking it down as?
Well, you kind of tweeted about it earlier today. I kind of hope that Justin Turner's already on the phone with his buddy or whoever it is that owns the boat. And I hope these guys are out having a grand old time tomorrow getting sunburnt because the Cubs after that went on an absolute, I think, 10-game tear. So that's what I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that these guys get back to town and, I hope they, Milwaukee's only 90 minutes away, so I hope they take care of the haircuts and all that stuff that they need to get done. The housekeeping stuff. I hope they get all that done tonight and then hit the lake tomorrow and have a good, relaxing off day and come in ready to kick some O's.
Kick some O's. Let's do that. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, Neil. It's just win. It's just win. Take care of a team that's currently being gutted. They are sellers. You want to know who's a seller? Baltimore's a seller. Am I buying from them? I'm not interested. But, they're getting gutted right in front of you. There's guys on hug watch left and right. They're trading guys in game in Toronto across the way. Literally, dude pitched the second game for the new team the other day. So, it's a weird weekend for them. Probably a lot of relief. But at the same point, they're wounded. They're down talent, major league wise. So just go win. Just take care of business. Play some good baseball. We'll be behind you 100% because by the end of the weekend, we got a really good shot of being right back where we want to be. The trade deadline. Wow, that was awesome. The trade deadline will be passed, and we're gonna have some new friends to cheer on, Neil. So go Cubs, go!
Yeah, man, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I can't wait. Can't wait to be in town. And can't wait to hang out and drink some of that Wrigley Field Kool-Aid. It always seems to hit different when you're in the friendly confines. So that's all for our show. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow. We're on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show, and visit us online, www.club120show.com. That's all for us. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!